Good morning, YouTube. This is your Backwoods Disciple here. This is going to be one of multiple videos on being a biblical husband. Today we're going to talk about being a protector. And if you don't have a husband, ladies, then this is something to look for in a man. Guys, if you're not a husband yet, this is something for you to learn. So that way when you are a husband. First things first, being a protector. We all know, okay, protection means physical, keeping harm from coming your family's way. But there's actually more to it than just that. So, the thing about being a protector, you have to protect not only physically, which is the given, but also mentally and emotionally and spiritually. We're to protect in all categories. So how do we do that? Well, you're mentally and emotionally kind of comes hand in hand. Really all of them kind of come hand in hand, but mainly mentally and emotionally. So with mentally and emotionally, the Bible calls us not to be harsh. We're to be understanding. We're to be loving. We're to give affection. And all these things affect the mental state of a woman as well as the emotional. Why? Because if you watch my previous video, I broke it down, but I'll break it down for you guys again. Your conscience affects your subconscious, which affects your emotions. So you have 3 steps. And so if you're, being mentally abusive, if you're, constantly snapping real quick on them and, stuff like that, you're affecting their mental state. And that's why the Bible tells us, be slow to wrath, be slow to anger, be understanding. And also, with emotional and mentally, it says, give your wife the affection that is due. It's not give your wife affection if, she does the dishes and cleans the house and does all these things. No, you're to give her affection because it's due already. She's, because she's your wife, it is due. And, everybody wants to look at protector as just physical, but there's so much more. And we can't, we have to give the things that the Bible is calling us to give to our wives. So mentally and emotionally kind of come hand in hand. If you're affecting the mental state, you're going to affect the emotional state. So therefore, you're damaging both whenever you're being mentally abusive, physically abusive. If you're being physically abusive, you're damaging all 3, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So don't cause mental stress on them, guys. Be understanding. That's what the Bible calls us to be, understanding to our wives. In Ephesians it says, love your wives as you love your own bodies. Well, we want to be understood. Husbands, we want to be understood. We want to, if we had a long day at work, a bad day at work, we want a little bit of extra attention, maybe, something good to eat and all these different things, or back rubbed, whatever. Well, it goes the same thing for the wives. Wives had a long day at work with the kids and cleaning the house and all these things. And yes, that is a job. That is work. Being a stay-at-home mom, that is the hardest job. So, we need to come home, be understanding to them. If you see them tired, jump in there and help. Jump in there and help with the kids. Jump in there and help with getting the kitchen clean. Be understanding. Do to them as you want done to you. If they're kind of in a bad mood, don't be, quick to snap on them. Be understanding. Be slow to anger. And give them affection. That's what women want. They want affection. So that's ways that you can protect mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because if you're doing physical abuse, you're damaging the physical protection as well. Next thing is spiritually. And guys, the Bible in Ephesians says, wash your wife with the word. Well, how does the Bible, it also says in Ephesians, how are we to be protected? By putting on the full armor of God. Well, guys, we have to be deep in prayer. We have to be in our word. We have to understand what we're up against. And it's also teaching your wife these things, washing her with the word, reading to her, sharing scripture with her, giving her guidance, praying over her, praying with her. That's protecting her spiritually, keeping her on the right path, giving her that proper leadership and guidance. And that's going to be on the next videos, being a leader. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, so, protecting her spiritually. Those are ways to protect her spiritually, is by washing her with the word, getting in that word with her, teaching her, guiding her, showing her what she's up against, staying steadfast and, and serving the Lord and putting him first and through everything. Guys, just fill your home up with God, and he's going to fill it up with peace. Just put him first in everything. Lead by example, and that'll be you protecting your wife spiritually, getting her on the right track and keeping her on the right track as far as serving the Lord and standing in her word. And those are going to be ways to protect her spiritually. And guys, another note on protecting physically. My thing on this, and this is my personal opinion, stay kind of healthy, guys. Stay kind of healthy. I'm not saying you got to have six-pack abs, because I sure enough ain't got them. But, if something was to happen, be in a state to where you can at least protect your family. If you got to, wrestle and tussle around, be able to do it. Be able to get in there and handle business when you need to. You don't want to be, way overweight where you can't get off the couch quick enough. You don't want that. It's going to be hard to be a protector physically if something was to go down. You might not always have a handgun. You might not always, be able to get to that gun before someone's already in there with holding you all at gunpoint, this and that. So, my suggestion on protecting physically is, guys, get in there and kind of get in the gym a little bit. If you're extremely overweight, and I'm not saying that you can't. If you can protect physically and you feel like you can get in there and handle business if you need to, even at being whatever weight, then hey, then that's all it is, man. It's just getting in there and being able to protect your family, in all situations. So protect physically, protect mentally. How do you protect mentally? Don't do mental abuse. Don't be quick to, anger with her. Be understanding. Give her the affection that is due. That's how you protect her mentally. That's also how you protect her emotionally. And then last but not least, protecting spiritually. Getting in that word, praying over her, doing all these things. And, for the single people out there, as far as, looking for a spouse, those are signs that's kind of giveaways. If you got a man that's just quick to wrath, just everything ticks him off, and he's throwing stuff across the house, throwing stuff across, his truck, across the counter, at work, whatever the case may be, keep that in consideration. The Bible calls men to be slow to anger. And if he's just got a really hot head, quick tempered, everything else, there's a good chance that he could do that to you whenever the dishes ain't done or a meal's cooked. If he has narcissistic traits, if he's not understanding, if he's a grudge holder, if he's, already showing signs of being mentally abusive, guys, stay away. Stay away from that. And that goes for females as well. You don't want to get a wife that's mentally abusive. You don't want to get a wife that's physically abusive. You don't want to get a wife that's, quick to anger, because the Bible calls, women not to be that either. So those are just little signs in the dating world that you can pay attention to that is probably not going to be a good one to get. So, but yeah, that's my tidbit on being a protector, a biblical husband role. And stay tuned for the next video. We're going to be talking about leadership and how a husband should be a leader in his family and how he should lead the family in the way of the Lord. So stay tuned, subscribe, like this video, put in the comments if you have a thought on anything, put in the comments if you want to hear anything. All right, guys.